Hello and welcome back. My name is Erin Ferguson and this is my video series about creating the art for a 2D video game. Today's video is going to be kind of a fun one, even though I'm actually not doing any drawing today. Of course, if you're familiar with this channel, you know that usually I show drawing footage, but today's actually going to be a little bit different because the thing that I'm working on right now is not quite done. You might remember, if you've been watching this channel for a while, that like ages ago, like months ago, I started working on a background image for our title screen. So something to go behind the title and the opening menu. Anyway, I started working on that and I made a video while it was in progress, but because there were other like more pressing things I needed to work on, and that's obviously not like a super high priority item, I just kind of put it on the back burner till I had a little extra time. And so anyway, this week I have had a little extra time, and so I've been working on trying to just get that finished up so I can, you know, check it off the list. And I'm like this close, so close to having it done. But I decided to just wait until it was completely finished, and then I'll show you the footage so you can see that, you know, being drawn from start to finish. But today's video, instead, I am actually going to share my favorite resources, free resources for artists. So I've been thinking about doing this video for a while because while I do believe there's certainly value in education, and I definitely believe it is worthwhile to spend money on a quality education, I also remember when I was like a student though and didn't have any money. And so free resources were everything. And so I'm going to share today a few of my favorite resources for artists that are all free, they're all online, and assuming you either have internet at home or have access to like a library, you should be able to get these and it won't cost you anything. So hang on just a second and I will switch over to my screen and I will show you my favorite resources. Alright, I am in and I've got a whole bunch of tabs open here so that I can show you my top 7 free resources for artists. And don't worry about it if you miss some of the names of some of these websites, because I will link everything in the description below so that you can access these later. But the first 2 resources I want to highlight are both figure drawing resources. So if you're an artist and have done any figure drawing, you know that figure drawing is hard. It's really hard. And even if you've taken, you know, a university course, you'll know that it usually takes more than one course. It takes years of practice to really feel like you have an intuitive understanding of the way the human figure works. And that's where Stan Prokopenko comes in. His website is proko.com, P-R-O-K-O, and he also has a YouTube channel. But this is by far the best free figure drawing resource online that I know of. If you go to his website, he does have some courses that you can buy and you can purchase here. But even if you don't spend a dime, his library of videos is extensive. And all of these lead to his YouTube channel as well. But I mean, he has everything from gesture drawing, breaking down the human figure into basic shapes like, you know, sometimes called the bean, how to balance poses, how to exaggerate poses. He even breaks down the body into specific parts. So, you know, things like drawing the head from any angle. He's got drawing anatomy of the spine, anatomy of the rib cage, anatomy of the upper back and lower back, arms, pecs, abs, obliques. He has everything. And all of the videos are just really, really well done. They are short, they are broken down into really easy, like actionable steps. And I highly, highly recommend him if you are learning how to draw the human figure. My next favorite resource for actually practicing drawing the human figure is quickposes.com. Now this one comes with a bit of a disclaimer, because what it basically is a massive library of figure drawing reference. The way I like to use it is to go to like timed practice here. You can choose what kind of, if you want to draw like the whole figure, if you just want to focus on face, hands, feet. You can choose the gender of the figure, male or female. But here's where the disclaimer comes in. You can also choose whether you want your figure clothed or not. So if you're uncomfortable drawing nude figures, you can actually select clothes and costumes instead. However, I should mention that even some of the clothed figures, or at least partially clothed figures, some of the female figures are like soft porn. I'm not gonna lie. You might want to skip over those. So if you're young or just like super uncomfortable drawing naked people, like this one might not be for you. However, it is a really good resource because you can set basically the time that you want to be sketching each figure. So if you're doing, you know, a warm-up, or if you want to practice just getting the gesture down, you can choose intervals of, you know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 180 seconds. You can set a custom time if you want, and you can set how many images you want to draw, and then you start the timer and it will bring up images every few seconds for you to draw and to practice with. You can also, they also have a big library here if you just want to pick an image to draw from. There's all different ways that you can use this website, and it's been super helpful for me, especially if you don't have access to live models all of the time. So next on my list of favorite free resources is for those of you who are wanting to learn to draw and paint environments better. So this guy, James Gurney, is like my hero. If you haven't heard of him, he's very famous, particularly for the Dinotopia series, but he also has other art books out. I have one of them called Color and Light, which I highly recommend. If you can't buy it, you know, reserve it at your local library because it is definitely worth it. But if you are learning to draw environments, check out his YouTube channel, because his videos, as you can see, are just a treasure trove of learning to draw from life, learning how to use light and color, and most of his videos he actually paints on location. They're plein air paintings, and he's using maybe a limited palette of like gouache or watercolor, and he just whips out these masterpieces. I mean, it just every time just makes my head just about explode. But watching him work and the way that he breaks down really complex scenes into simple forms and colors and slowly adds detail. And he's also excellent at explaining what he's doing as he's doing it. And I have learned so much about painting environments just from watching his videos. So I highly recommend him, because I don't know if there's an artist out there who understands light and atmosphere better than James Gurney. So check him out. As I said, he's got tons of stuff on his YouTube channel. I also believe he has some other courses and materials on his website that you can purchase if you want. But again, like I said, just using his free resources on his YouTube channel, I have learned a ton, so check him out. My next resource is for those of you who are looking to improve your overall understanding of like composition and color. And for those people, I want to direct you toward Marco Bucci's YouTube channel. And specifically, I want you to look at, under his playlist, I want you to look at this one, the 10 Minutes to Better Paintings. And if you open that up, he's got 8 videos in there, and all of them are either under 10 minutes or barely over, and they are these short lessons that are just really concise and explained really, really well, and they opened my eyes to thinking about color and composition in ways that I hadn't thought about it before. I really like especially his color harmony video, light and shadow, and color noise. Those are some of my absolute favorites. He also has, in his video series, he has a lot of information about painting digitally. So if you are more of a digital painter, or if you're wanting to get into that, his videos focus on that quite a bit. So I highly recommend this video series. The rest of his videos are of course great too, but as far as like education goes, you really can't beat that 10 Minutes to Better Painting playlist. So this next resource is for those of you who want to put together stronger, better color palettes, or who struggle to understand color theory. That was a big struggle for me for a long time. I'm getting better at it, but color was never as intuitive for me as like line was. Line and value were always easier for me to understand. And so my absolute favorite and most addicting resource is Peloton.com. This is a lot of fun. It just kind of sucks you in actually, But basically it's very simple. Basically it's this color wheel here, but it allows you to create different color palettes based on these different color configurations. So of course you've got your monochromatic palette here, which is just one color, and you can drag your dot around to create different palettes over here on the side. Or if you want to do like analogous colors, you can select that one. Again, you drag your dots and you can create different color palettes and see which one, you know, speaks to you. We've got the triad, we've got the tetrad, and of course if you want to just go freestyle and adjust all your little dots, they allow you to do that too. But what's really fun about this too is if you have no ideas, if you're really struggling, you know, to come up with a color palette for your painting, you can also randomize it if you'd like. Oh, that one's just black. You can also randomize it and come up with different ideas that you might not have thought of yourself. And then once you find something you like, you can export it here and save it, you know, to Photoshop or wherever, and use all of these colors. They even have the little color codes down here so that you can get the exact colors in your painting. And so this is super addicting. You can spend a long time just playing with different color palettes. Ooh, that one's really pretty actually. Might save that one. Look at that, that's really nice. So my next two resources, number 6 and number 7, are actually podcasts. So if you like just listening to people talk about art, or if you're really interested, especially in like the business side of art, this one is going to be for you. So the first one is svslearn.com. Now this website as a whole is actually, it's a collection of classes specifically focused on like children's book illustration. They have a whole bunch of courses that you can pay for. However, their podcast is free. The podcast is called 3 Point Perspective. They have quite a few episodes out now on all different kinds of topics. And this podcast is hosted by Will Terry, Lee White, and Jake Parker, who you may have heard of if you've spent any time in the art community at all. And all of them actually have YouTube channels of their own that are super fun to watch. I highly recommend those, also as free resources. But this has become one of my absolutely favorite podcasts. It comes out every 2 weeks, and the episodes are usually a lot of fun to listen to, really funny, and it's a great thing just to have on in the background while you're working. Another podcast that I really like is Make It Then Tell Everybody. Now this one is focused mostly on comic creators. So the host of this podcast, Dan Barry, interviews comic creators, but not usually like mainstream comics, more like indie comics, people who have made their own careers, doing their own thing. And so they do talk about the business of art quite a bit, especially if you're interested in like self-publishing and Patreon and other ways of, you know, making a living online. This one is definitely for you. Really funny, and it doesn't always come out on a super regular schedule, but as you can see, there are like bazillions of episodes that you can watch and catch up on, and so highly recommend that one as well. So those are my top 7 free resources for artists, and of course I will have all of these linked below, so you're not going to have to remember any of these names, but for figure drawing, of course I recommend Proko.com and QuickPoses.com. For environments, nobody's better than James Gurney. Check out his YouTube channel. I also like Peloton.com for colors, and Marco Bucci for color and composition. And for podcasts, I really like 3 Point Perspective and Make It Then Tell Everybody. And if you have used any of these or have any other free favorite resources that you have used and really like, feel free to add those in the comments below. Hopefully you'll find these useful. And of course, as always, I will be back next week with another video. So until then, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you then.